My brother plays that.
Yeah. It's
Do you collect characters?
Yes.
Yes. He gets very excited.
Mm-hmm.
He's been playing that for a long time.
Yeah, I've been doing it about a year and a half. I do it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Usually only a little bit a day because I'm not super into it. The thing about a lot of these games is the ones that are like, come back every day and you get a prize or whatever.
Yeah, no, those are crack cocaine to me. And I while it's happening, I'm like, I know you're owning me right now. But is that what you were going to say?
No, it's that they take way too fucking long a day to actually do this stuff.
Right.
I don't have that kind of time to just spend on bullshit.
Especially when there's like a timer on things.
Yeah, like they'll give me 3 days to do all this stuff and like it's going to take me 6, let's say realistically 3 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have 3 hours a day to waste on your fucking game.
Or you could just buy it. You could just pay for the thing.
Just pay for it, yeah.
Which is what they're really doing.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't stop me from doing things, though. Like, I tried to play that Goosebumps game that came out. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
I think it was around the time the first movie came out. The first Goosebumps movie with Jack Black. And it was probably promotional.
Yeah.
But basically, like, you're building a town, like a spook town, and you, like, collect screams. Just realized that was a racial slur.
That's what I was laughing.
Absolutely did not intend. Spooky. A spooky town.
Welcome once again to Noah's Snark, where two former religious types and current snarks take a look at religious media on its own terms.
I'm Hillary.
And I am Josh, aka the Poke of God.
The Poke of God?
That's right. It's a Facebook reference. Remember how you used to
Oh,
poke
I've
people?
heard of that. I have heard people reference this, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Did you ever have a Facebook?
No.
Nice. It's better that way.
Yeah. I have never regretted not having a Facebook.
Yeah.
I guess technically, briefly, I had one for about 2 days because I was trying to make a point to my friend. She thought that you could actually have a privacy setting. Like you could actually make it to where people can't find you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very right in that it's literally impossible to protect yourself on Facebook or to not be found.
Yeah.
Because as soon as she friended herself via she did everything.
Mm-hmm.
She friended herself via it, and all these pop-ups happened, and people started asking to be my friend. She's like, "Wait, I put it on private." I'm like, "Yeah, there is no private.
That's the whole point.
That's the whole point. Now delete that account."
Excellent.
Yeah.
So before we begin the episode today, do you have anything you'd like to comment on, your hits or misses from a previous week?
No, I don't think I have anything.
Me neither.
Yeah. I haven't finished listening to.
Ooh, I do have one.
Oh, okay.
I wish, and it's not too late, we could always do this again later, I wish we had, in fact, recorded our Herc's Adventure game. Because I think it would have been fun.
I think it would have been fun. I agree.
To hear the constant, why am I not fucking moving?
Bees!
Where are you? So I think it would have been fun. So next time, if we ever play anything, especially together,
yeah,
we should definitely record it.
I feel like we should. Yeah, I'm like, why didn't we? We didn't have to use it. Why didn't we just record ourselves and then?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, it would have been a pain to set up. So
right, because it was already in here. You get it. But
yeah, no, I get it. Yeah,
that's my miss.
I agree with you.
Yeah, my
next time.
Own failures.
This is how we learn and grow.
Learning and growing
as friends together.
So let's move on to today and talk about what we are doing today.
Okay, Josh, we're doing something today called God Friended Me, and it is a TV show on CBS.
CBS. We initially had the idea that we would watch the first two.
Mm-hmm.
I had a notion that it would be really dense, at least in the first episode, and I would have plenty to say.
Yeah, pilots are like that.
Pilots are like that. And so, I was right. We were watching the first one, and I texted you, and I just said, I have 2 pages.
Yep.
It's been 20 minutes. We're gonna be fine.
Yes, which is good, because also we would have had to get CBS All Access.
Right.
In order to get access to episode 2.
The pilot's available on CBS's website, which is great for us, because we didn't want to bother with even a free trial, because it's a pain in the ass to set up.
It is. You have to set it up, and then you have to remember to cancel it, or cancel it immediately.
Yeah,
blah,
which is
blah,
usually
blah.
the better route, but still.
Right. Except for I always have this thing, I'm like, well, since I already have the trial, maybe I'll watch some things on here. And then, yeah, that's how they get you.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you.
You'd be like, ooh, I can watch Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks? No, Twin Peaks is on HBO.
The new one.
Oh.
But the old one is CBS, right?
And I have no idea.
I think Twin Peaks is a CBS show.
Well, it's on Netflix.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. It was an example.
Oh, no,
I'm watching Dallas.
I'm gonna watch Dallas. Oh, that's my favorite show.
Okay, so let's describe God Friended Me in one sentence.
Okay. My one sentence would be, George Burns's Oh God for the modern era. Oh God is a movie from 1977.
I knew the name.
Yes.
Never seen it.
It is basically this premise.
Okay, I have one too. It is touched by an angel for the millennial generation, and thus adds one extra characteristic to it.
Technology.
Non-committal.
Yes.
Yours is a good choice, but it's non-committal.
Yes.
And we will figure out what that means as we go, but I think it's pretty good, appropriate.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's just start from the beginning. We start with a loud, would you call it music? A singer? Just going, whoo!
I don't remember that. I remember 2 Chainz, because that's the first song.
But we're hearing our narrator, and he tells us, New York City, center of the universe, home to 8.6 million people. A diverse melting pot of culture.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's searching for meaning and answers. I thought I had it all figured out, but then something happened, and it changed my life forever. I'm delivering this, I think,
pretty accurate.
Pretty accurately.
Yeah.
The words are right. I think I got the tone down.
Yeah.
Mostly.
I did not like this opening. It was very annoying to me.
Yes. But we now meet that narrator and our main character, the millennial prophet, as he calls himself, Miles Finer. A black guy.
Mm-hmm.
Describe this man for me, if you would.
Adorable.
Yeah. He's a good-looking cat.
He's a good-looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this is a very good-looking cast. The whole show is good-looking.
That's true. Everybody.
Everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, I'd enjoy it. Yeah.
Not even into
Maybe
dudes.
Maybe I will watch this show.
I'm not even into dudes. I'd be like, yeah, I'd fuck that guy.
Oh, yeah. Rakesh.
Rakesh is a good
Yeah, I'm into him.
Okay. But we meet Miles Finer, and he is doing an episode of a podcast. His podcast, apparently called The Millennial Prophet, maybe. I don't know.
Yep.
And he tells us right away that there is no proof of God anywhere in the universe. So I checked the clock here, because I wanted to see how long it was going to be before someone said something that I would consider ridiculous.
Yes.
24 seconds.
Beautiful. Yeah, I was also just like, awesome, atheists being represented well again.
Because center of the universe is like, that's obviously, what's the word I'm looking for?
The sun.
Right. Not even the case, but
I know.
Hyperbolic on purpose.
Oh, gotcha.
So I was like, I'm not going to count that. That's just him, telling a joke.
You mean about the New York thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Obviously,
that was
just
obviously hyperbole.
But he was being serious here. There's no proof anywhere in the whole universe. And I don't believe there's proof of God that anyone's
but that's
presented.
A belief. It's like, that's as crazy as saying there is absolutely truth.
Exactly.
Of the presence of God.
Exactly.
There is no proof.
Right. I don't currently believe anyone has presented proof. Right. Do I also believe that there is none in the universe? No.
And it also cannot be said as a statement of fact, which is because it's very much not. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Like you said, it's
if I'm not going to be behind the atheist, who am I going to be behind in this show?
But he's doing his show, and he points out that he's intending to debate that and more on this episode of his podcast. And so he's brought along one of his old friends from his college days, a rabbi named Zoe Schwartz, which I thought was a very, very Jewish name. They did not go for subtlety.
Nope.
On the rabbi.
No, they did not.
It's like, rabbis also have names that aren't Schwartz.
These are funny. Yeah, no, the names in here are actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on purpose.
The rabbi cites the miracles of Sinai as obvious proof of God and insists that Miles already knows this, among other things, because his dad is a preacher, and Miles grew up in the church. But Miles rejects this apparent proof that she provides and asserts that if he said he received a message from God in the form of a burning bush, she would think he was crazy. And she says, not necessarily. And if we're being honest, I think she's lying.
100%.
Because it is a reasonable point that if someone says they hear God now, you think they're crazy.
Or it's more like, okay, quickly, we need to get this person in a home.
Exactly. Like, just talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe it's temporary.
And it's called schizophrenia. Mm-hmm. It can show up later in life, so...
And apparently, I've heard this before, apparently some people have heard voices in their lives, and it just goes away. It's not like a condition they have, it's just they were having a rough day, or they're having a great day, or something happened. Mm-hmm. They heard it once, it went away, it's fine. But if it's a continuous thing, yeah, you should probably talk to somebody professionally.
Yeah. I used to call them head voices, but it was because I was an alcoholic.
Well, there you go.
Not actually, everybody. That was hyperbole.
Oh, I see.
But I drank way too much as in my youth.
Did you get some head voices?
Head voices.
Oh,
yeah.
so you're one of them.
No, I mean, kind of.
Okay.
It's not the way people describe it.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, it's not always a cause for major concern.
Right.
But you should at least be like,
Yeah, I need to stop drinking.
Right.
Not, oh, God's real. He's in my vodka bottle.
So they're arguing about the burning bush, and so they're bickering back and forth for about 3 seconds. And she asks him, what happened to you? Why are you like this? Which, in a lot of contexts, can be funny, and in this one, is just a common trope that we've seen time and again, where if you're an atheist, you need something to have happened.
Yep, and at first you're like, I'm like, well, maybe, this is not going to be one of those.
Oh.
Stick with us, audience.
I always love your optimism that you bring.
I have it. It's there. It's short-lived, always.
But yeah, thankfully, like you were just saying, they do dodge it, though I wrote down, I suspect only for now.
Right. Well, yeah.
And Miles says nothing happened. He just wants people to take responsibility for their own lives. And so now we cut, the show's over, basically. Miles is sending a voicemail to somebody at Sirius, which I assume means the
Sirius XM.
Yeah, the satellite radio station. And he's trying to get his show picked up on some channel on Sirius. And so after hanging up, he looks at his phone and he receives a friend request on Facebook from someone named God.
Yep.
It's just the image of a cloud. It says God requested to be your friend or whatever.
Right.
He rejects it, of course, and he's laughing a little bit, despite the fact that I would wager a lot of people would actually accept it because it's kind of funny.
It is kind of funny.
And as someone who's on the internet and is non-religious, a lot of non-religious folks like to give themselves monikers like God because it allows them to make jokes.
Yeah.
Like there's a Twitter account called God.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
And he just talks about, ridiculous.
Someone in character.
Yeah, he acts in character, but he plays it straight, but it's obviously satire.
Right.
Oh yeah, well, sometimes you just gotta send a bear to eat a bunch of babies. It's just, and there might be a Bible verse attached. Yeah, that happened.
Amazing. Yeah, no, it was out of character, I thought, for him to say, decline.
Okay, so you're with me.
Yes.
But he receives the request again once he's at a coffee shop. And this is where he is asked about his podcast by one of the workers. I heard your show. How much money you making? A lot?
Yeah.
And he goes, oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, just like us.
A ton.
Yeah.
Which is...
He's making as much as we are, I think.
Yeah, he's clearly not making any, but he says he is, and I don't know why.
I think he wants to be seen as successful.
Okay, that might make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's also fine to have podcasting as a hobby.
I mean, I think this is more than a hobby. It seems to be the only thing he's doing. He doesn't have a job.
No, he has a job.
What is his job?
The next scene is at this job.
Oh, that's right. Holy shit. Well,
I mean, he doesn't have a job he's super satisfied with.
This is one of those things where, you call yourself a musician because that's what you believe you're going to be, but really you don't make any money doing that. You just want to be seen that way.
Yeah, I mean, I am sort of the opinion that if you do it every day, that's you are that thing. You know what I mean? I do have a day job, but also I have a podcast.
Right.
I work on it, if not every day, some significant more than one day of the week.
This is literally the only other thing I work on besides my job.
Exactly. So I'm also a podcaster.
Except for my health.
Pay me.
Constantly working on that.
Pay me all your money.
Yeah, we need to figure out a Patreon situation.
Okay.
I'll just text my mom and dad.
Hey, will you just finance?
Mom, you want to be our Patreon?
But he tells them that he's making a lot of money, and then we cut to him with his real job, or his paying job, as a credit card customer service representative. And he just has, it doesn't matter, but his friend Rakesh comes by, and he complains that his mom is setting him up on another date. And as this conversation is happening, Miles gets an email from the Sirius guy that he had called, and so things are looking up for old Miles. He says, submit him some sort of presentation, and I like the way your show sounds, let's see what happens. So it's good. It's positive news.
Yeah, totally. Rakesh, by the way, one, is adorable.
Yes.
But also, he's a pretty established actor. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was in Life of Pi. I think he was Pi in Life of Pi.
Oh, I knew he looked familiar.
Yeah. I had to look him up because I know him from somewhere. He's in something else too. Now I can't remember. I have it written down in the thing in my bag.
Yeah.
But it's all the way over there, so.
That's fine. Life of Pi is probably the biggest role he would have had then.
Probably. I think he might have been in Homeland, too, or something.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah. Anyway.
He's just enough, brown that he can be whatever role they need for Homeland, but not, necessarily from like Saudi Arabia, so it's racist.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. Maybe he is playing an Indian.
Yeah, it's very, it's possible.
I don't know. I've actually never seen Homeland. I've been told it's good.
Yeah. Me too. I've seen one episode.
And it was
fine. I don't know. I don't think I had cable at the time, and it was like, I don't know.
No, I'm with you.
I wasn't going to get into it at the time.
Right.
The reason I mentioned Rakesh's date is relevant because it is a constant subplot through the show, which I have to give them at least some credit for.
Yeah.
They did not just bring up random things and drop them.
Right.
As far as I can tell.
A lot of the dialogue felt really natural.
Yeah, a lot of the dialogue felt natural, and a lot of the reason the dialogue was happening
yes.
felt relevant, especially later when you realized it was.
Agreed.
So we have to give them some credit for at least writing a tight, extremely dense 48 minutes. So now Miles goes to the bar that his sister works at. And she just asks him one favor. Speaking of, since we're talking about how good looking this cast is.
Oh my
sister
gosh.
Is fine.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful woman.
Yes.
Also his sister. And she wants him to come to their dad's 25th church anniversary this weekend. He doesn't want to, and they haven't even spoken in months. And Miles wonders why he's the one who has to take the first step towards their reconciliation. His dad hasn't talked to him either. Why does he have to go to his church thing? Right. Instead of him giving him a call. Yeah. Or going through his sister or anything.
It's that two people being childish and thinking the other one's being childish thing.
Right. But when asked what it will take to get them together, Miles doesn't really have an answer, and he leaves the bar instead. He just says, thanks for the beer, having drank, 3 sips of it?
Drives me insane. This has come up before. The way people drink in movies is insane.
Yeah, I assume he didn't pay for it because it's his sister. Maybe she spotted him.
Right.
In which case, it's not a total waste.
Right. But why even open one if you're going to have a sip or two?
Yeah. I'm with you. The way people drink in movies. When I see somebody leave a bar in a movie and they finish their drink first, I'm like, all right, someone who's not fucking crazy.
Yeah, but usually, if they manage to do that and write that into a movie, they did forget to pay.
That's true.
People, never pay for their drinks whatsoever. They're just like, okay, we gotta go. And just leave.
Yeah, you're right. They either don't drink the drink, which they just paid $9 for. Right. Or they finish the drink and don't actually pay anybody.
Right.
I assume maybe they're like, sometimes I think I've had this thought. I'm just thinking they're a regular. Maybe they know they'll get them later. Like, the tab means a tab that I pay at the end of the month.
Yeah, man, I wish they... Well, that's probably better. It's better that I can't open a tab at places.
Right. Like, I'll pay you next week for a burger today.
Basically, that's what my credit card is I opened a tab.
That's what all credit cards are.
Exactly.
Once Miles leaves the bar, he receives another friend request from God, and this time he takes note of it, because the profile picture of a cloud matches a cloud that Miles is looking at right now.
Yeah.
And so he's like, what the hell?
It's the only cloud in the sky, and it's exactly the cloud in the picture.
So he's...
Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah, he's really intrigued by it. He rejects it, though. But again, it shows up right away. And so he's like, fine, whatever. I guess they really want to be my friend. So he accepts it. And in seconds after accepting this friend request from God, he receives a suggested friend from God's Facebook page. And you don't know this because you're not on Facebook, but that is not a thing you can do.
I was going to ask.
As friends.
God can't, you can't suggest people personally to, okay, that's what I actually thought that.
Yeah, because I looked it up. I specifically went into my Facebook because I'm not super intricate on all the details.
Right.
Went to my Facebook, went to a random friend of mine, tried to find the button for suggest friend. Yeah. And maybe it exists, but I could not find it. And I feel like if it did exist, it should be obvious.
Yeah.
Because why else would it be a feature?
Yeah, I don't know. No.
Oh, you have to go through the thing and then the other thing.
Are we positive that it's Facebook that he's using? Does he say it's Facebook? Or could it be a different...
No one actually says it's Facebook, but I know it's Facebook. One, because of the way they do it is very clearly Facebook. Yeah. And it's friended. And the show has specifically worked with Facebook.
Oh.
I looked this up. They worked with Facebook to sort of get permission on how much they can show before they start.
Gotcha. I guess Facebook gave them permission to completely make something up.
Right. But, how much of the logo or whatever can they use? Apparently not a ton, but to make sure they don't cross into a line where Facebook will be mad at them.
Right.
So they do...
Not trying to pay trademarking.
Right. So it's definitely Facebook, nonetheless. Even if they never officially say it.
Cool. All right. Well, move on.
Yes. So he gets a suggested friend from God about a guy who just so happens to be chasing after his girlfriend right now and bumps into Miles in the process. And once on the other side of the street, this guy gets dumped. and he heads down to the subway where Miles follows, mostly because he's very confused.
Yeah.
He says, hey, like, do I know you? What is happening?
Yeah.
Why are you here and this is here? This is really weird.
Yeah.
And just as he gets down there, this guy decides that he's going to jump in front of a train. But Miles, of course, sees it happening and grabs him at the last second. Having to weave his way through an entire New York crowd before it happens, by the way.
Yeah, and there was a jump cut where he just magically made it to the other side of the platform.
But there are dozens of people around this guy.
Yeah.
And he's very obvious that he's about to jump around this train. No one...
I don't think he's very obvious. He was going to do it very last second.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it was as the train was getting closer, and then he just kind of starts going for it right as the train was approaching.
Okay.
So
Okay. Because I was just concerned...
But if you were thinking about... If a crowd in New York would have noticed, no. The answer is no.
I've heard that. I know that. Actually, I heard somebody tell a story once that they were in New York. They're lost. They're crying in the street.
Yeah.
No one bothers them.
That's my favorate place in the world.
And then
Josh,
somebody...
It's my favorite place in the world.
Somebody finally stops and asks if they're okay.
Yeah.
They're also from out of town.
Right, of course.
Because they're like, why is no one helping you?
See, for me, I was just like, if I'm crying in the street, I would love to be ignored. Thank you very much.
That is.
If I want help, I say something to a human like, "Hello, can you help me?"
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to be helped, I would ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like just people approaching and talking to me for no reason.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I have seen people cry in public, and I always have the question of, I feel like they want to be ignored,
Right.
but also I want to make sure they're fine, but also, ooh, I'm going to ignore them.
I have a very naturally, I will go and try to help people like that, or at least feel out the waters and see if they actually want some attention or help. But I'm also not a pureblood New Yorker, so
right.
I just appreciate them.
But having just saved a life because a lead from a Facebook friend named God, Miles is, I think, reasonably stunned.
Yeah.
And so he just sort of...
It's a lot of coincidences all at once.
Takes it all in as we hit our first commercial break because it's been 7 minutes. I know what you're thinking. All of that happened in 7 minutes? Yes. I'm checking the clock because...
I love that you're checking the clock. I never do that.
It's just a lot. And like you said, pilots are dense normally.
Right.
But holy shit.
Yeah, a lot happens very quickly, which I like it.
I like it.
Yeah. I'm so glad it's not being dragged out.
We've already compared this to Touched by an Angel.
Yes.
Remember one of the first things I said about that show was that it could have been a lot tighter?
Yes.
This could not be tighter.
They did a lot of standing in Touched by an Angel and silence, and this... It's for our new generation.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of,
We want our stories to move, okay? We need stuff to happen.
We don't have time.
But Miles is still down in the subway when we get back from the commercial. And he tries to convince himself that this guy was not about to jump. He just grabbed him, and he was too close, and he was, scary.
Yeah.
But he goes home and he writes on God's Facebook wall, "Nice try." And in return, he simply receives another suggested friend for Kara Bloom. Kara Bloom. And so now we cut to Kara, who is a struggling writer going through a rough patch and is now on a deadline to write a story by the end of the week or else.
And is also inhumanly beautiful.
Oh yeah. Ridiculous. And her boss is?
Yep.
Her boss is the one who tells her literally, this is an or else situation. You need to get this thing done.
Yeah. And her boss looks like a black Christine Baranski.
Yeah.
Doesn't she?
Yeah.
It took me a minute. I had to pause and be like, who is she?
And her boss isn't like being super like mean or bitchy or anything. It's just like, you haven't turned anything in 6 weeks.
Right. She was being a boss.
Yeah, she's being a boss. But not, I just want to clarify, it's not like in a, we hate the boss way.
This is not the Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah, this is not a thing where we hate the boss now. So we're going back to Miles, and he asks Rakesh, his friend, to help him figure out who this god person is with his elite hacking skills. Mm-hmm. And Rakesh says, what are you talking about? I'm not a hacker. I'm a game enthusiast. Which was kind of funny. Rakesh is the best character.
He's by far the best character. I love him.
Miles suspects that the person behind the god account paid the other guy to pretend to jump in front of the train to try to convince Miles that there really is a god.
Yep.
So they exchange the information they know about the situation. And Miles notices that Kara has just checked into a cycle class that she's going to.
Soul Cycle.
Yes. And so he's going to head down there to try to find her, because at this point he's motivated enough to be a creep.
Yeah.
It's very creepy. Don't ever do that.
It's like, yeah, well, at least his motivation is not creepy.
It's not creepy, but it is creepy to do it.
It 100% is. Right. Yeah. God sent me a friend request on your behalf, so I followed you to your workout. Right. Yeah.
So he watches her suspiciously from the sidewalk and approaches her to ask if she's God. And she's obviously confused. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't know what's going on.
And she brushes him off in a very normal, like, in a way that was very believable.
Yeah.
Just like, nope, okay,
Gonna
bye.
go.
I have mace.
Yeah, he accuses her of being a very dedicated actor, which motivates her to tell him that she has mace. He says, yeah, well, I work at a credit card company, and when I find out who this is, I'm gonna jack their credit up.
What a sweet spot of power
to have. I have actually said that I used to work in customer service at insurance.
Yeah.
And I once said that we should just create a little slider.
Yeah, or so you just make their premium higher.
A little bit, not a ton. 5%.
A penny a month.
Yeah, 5% higher.
Yeah.
And 5% lower.
Yeah.
So if someone calls you and they're being an asshole, just be like, okay, well, I just increased your premium by 2%. Would you like to keep going? Like, I have unlimited power in this situation.
You're like the principal in Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I own you for the next 3 months.
A little bit. Just don't be an asshole.
Right.
You won't get the increase. And then if someone's super, super cool.
Yeah.
You get a decrease.
Man.
Just a little discretion.
I'm always super cool on the phone. I'd pay $0.
I mean, that's why I say it can't be too high, obviously.
Yeah.
Too much either way.
I wish people's personalities could actually affect change in that way.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, if he has this little bit of power, I'm not mad at it. The story of Kara and Miles is on hold for just a second, because Miles needs to get his presentation together for Sirius. So he stays up very late finishing, and just as he gets to sleep, his alarm goes off. And he notices that his computer is all messed up, and his music won't stop playing, and even his presentation has been destroyed. And after all that work...
Dude, I was so mad on his behalf.
Right. I'm not saying he has no reason to be pissed.
This is just, falls in with the, if God's real, he's an asshole.
Which we will get to.
Move.
Which we will get to.
Such a dick move.
So Kara's back to work, and she's trying to write a story. And Miles shows up at her job, because now he accuses her of hacking his computer and his thermostat, and asks her if she's being paid to mess with him. But he does begin to believe that she truly doesn't know what he's talking about, and she doesn't. Despite being super creepy, because this is a pretty creepy thing to do, his dejection alarms Kara, and she asks if he's okay, because she is a real good person.
Yes.
Because I'd be like, oh, you seem sad? Get the fuck out.
I don't need your negative energy around me right now.
You're being very strange, and you're at my job.
You're being very strange.
At this time, Kara's boss comes in and asks who Miles is, because he's sitting in her chair. So Kara comes up with a lie and says that he's part of a story that she's writing about the integration between faith and technology or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But they come to an agreement, her and Miles, that she will help him uncover the secret of the God account if he will let her write a story about the experience. So now they have a team up, and they go to see Rakesh for his hacking. And now that a girl's in the conversation, this is why Rakesh is the best character.
Yes.
He's very eager to claim that he's a hacker.
Yes. A very cool hacker.
Because Miles,
badass.
What does Miles say? He says, I know you're not a hacker. He goes, what are you talking about? I'm a fantastic hacker.
I'm a badass hacker.
Yeah.
He says something like that.
It's great.
Yeah.
So Rakesh reveals
Goes
after...
awkward real quick.
Yeah, because he sees a pretty girl, so he's like, I gotta say I'm great at everything.
This is not what I normally wear, also. He's like, this is my workout outfit.
So they're inside, and Rakesh has done some work, and he reveals that the God account is protected by a sublime firewall, one of the best he's ever seen. But fortunately, he does think that he can break through it. But given the complexity of the code behind the firewall, Rakesh theorizes that the God account is using what's called predictive analytics, which is a type of AI used to determine the outcome of events. So the AI would have known that that guy was suicidal and then possibly set Miles up to save him by finding someone who is likely to attempt suicide, to then crossing their paths and then trying to use that to convince Miles that there is some sort of God or entity in charge.
Right.
It's complicated, but...
This is all new information to me, because when people start talking technology, I black out.
It is a reasonable conclusion if one thinks such an AI could exist.
Okay.
And I don't believe we're there yet, but it could in the future. Stuff like Eagle Eye, the movie with Shia LaBeouf.
Oh yeah, saw that in theaters.
That's basically this.
Yeah, terrifying.
Okay. So Rakesh still tries to mac a little bit on Kara. He's still trying. But we are now going to cut back to the bar with Miles' sister. I think Rakesh mentions that he has a date.
Yeah, and then quickly he was like, it's not my girlfriend or anything. I'm single.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very single. My mom's making me do it. I just,
So cute. He's so cute.
So we're at the bar again, and Miles is beginning to wonder if his sister has something to do with it. But of course, she rejects that notion. That's ridiculous. And now we finally get a little backstory on Miles' dad and himself, and that prompts a conversation about spirituality. Apparently, if someone says they're not religious but they are spiritual, it bugs Miles.
Yeah.
So now he points out that he thinks it's the ultimate cop-out. Either you believe something or you don't. And Kara thinks it just means that you recognize that there's something greater, some grand design that can connect everyone.
Right.
Because otherwise...
She's just on the more spiritual side of agnosticism.
Right. Because otherwise, to her, life seems pointless. And Miles, again, goes way too far and assures her that there is no grand design.
Right.
It's like, just believe me.
Ugh, he's the worst kind of atheist.
Right, like,
He's a PETA atheist.
I actually believe all the same things.
Right.
Do I believe there's a grand design? No. Am I going to say, trust me?
But it's people conflating belief with knowledge.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it before. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. Mm-hmm. You can say you believe anything. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to,
I don't care.
I don't care. That's not a point of contention for me. You can believe whatever you want, but don't say things are fact like you know anything. I don't care if you're Christian. I don't care if you're atheist or anything in between.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Literally, you don't know.
And I don't really care what you believe so long as you...
know in your heart, which is the same thing as believing. Fuck you.
Like, I don't care at all what you believe as long as you don't act poorly for it. Mm-hmm. If you don't believe in vaccines, that's fine with me. Just vaccinate.
Yeah, don't believe in them.
You don't actually have to believe it.
But you also cannot leave your house now.
Right. Beyond that,
How often do we bring up anti-vaxxers? That really...
Because it really bugs me.
It's the thing that pisses me off the most. It's right now in the world, there's a lot of shit going down.
Yeah.
But anti-vaxxers are my biggest enemy.
Also right now in the world, measles are making a comeback. So
I know.
It is actually relevant and important.
It's legitimately going to probably be our next plague, is things caused by these poor children.
Yeah.
That did not get to make this choice on their own.
But like, if you have an innocuous belief, you believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have this conversation with you unless you want to, because I don't care. You're not acting like an idiot because you believe in ghosts. You just believe in ghosts. If you believe in God, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
As long as you're not like, we should murder a certain type of people, I'm solid.
Yeah.
I don't care at all.
Don't inflict your beliefs on other people in a negative way, which anti-vaxxers do, and hyper crazy ass religious people,
right?
Cults,
right?
When, things get to a certain point, all these things, negative effect on humanity.
But beyond that, you can be spiritual, you can be religious, you can be I don't care. And I'm never going to tell you, trust me, there's no grand design. Because if you believe there's a grand design, it affects me zero.
I don't care what you believe. Let's just drill that point home once again.
Right.
This podcast does not care what you believe.
Not at all.
We support you.
And this conversation gets interrupted because Rakesh calls and tells them that he's tracked down God to New Jersey, which we all know isn't going to be the case.
Except for, was this supposed to be a Dogma reference?
It might be.
I couldn't tell.
It also might
wasn't straightforward enough to be a straight-up Dogma reference, but...
It also might just be they live in New York and New Jersey's a thing New Yorkers never go to.
Yeah, it's true.
Like,
and it's
New Jersey.
It's supposed to be a garbage heap.
Right.
The garbage heap of America.
Right.
No offense, people I know from Jersey. Cough, cough, Jake.
Jake, New Jersey sucks.
My bad, Jake.
But once they arrive at the house that this is supposed to be where God is, because this is a TV show, they finally have a conversation once they arrive, where Kara asks him how he managed to lose his faith despite being a preacher's son.
And here it comes.
Oh, almost, though.
Oh,
she suggests it was because Miles always felt that religion was shoved down his throat, so he just went the hard other route. Mm-hmm. And Miles is pretty non-committal in the answer. He's like, yeah, totally, that was it.
Yeah.
Which, if that was what they stuck with,
yes,
I was going to be super happy with.
I know.
Like, I wanted it to be every episode, someone makes a new suggestion, he's just like, yep.
I would just like any atheist represented in any movie or any TV show anywhere would have some kind of story similar to ours, right. Which is, we did believe, to a degree.
Uh-huh.
We spent a long time thinking about it, researched things, grew up, and don't believe anymore.
I know.
Simple.
One time.
Once.
One person.
Everyone's parents die. It's always someone's parents dying.
I really wish I was so kind of, I knew it was not going to stay that way, but I felt it was so promising for a while when they were just like, he's not going to talk about it. He doesn't care. He just doesn't believe and it's fine.
Right.
And of course I knew they were going to change it, but I really, really, really had a tiny bit of hope.
Yeah. Oh, you had a little optimism?
Just only...
Dashed against the rocks.
It's not so much the optimism, because I knew it from the start. It's more, they have the pieces there to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And they can't help
They just can't.
But to not
That's, I think, also how you know it was written by Christians.
Right.
They cannot contemplate somebody not believing unless a major tragedy happened.
Right. I have no major tragedies in my life.
No, me neither. Well, you had cancer.
Yeah, but I didn't believe long before that.
I know that, but I'm just saying, like, the Christian would be like, oh, is it because you had cancer?
That's true. It might.
Yeah.
I think someone has asked me that once before.
I'm sure of it.
Like, no one I was really close to have ever died.
Yep.
My grandma's dying now, but she's like, I'm 31 and she's in her 80s.
Yeah.
And she's dying of, like, nothing super tragic.
Yeah.
Nothing major is ever really bad. I just stopped believing because I don't believe it, because it doesn't seem true.
It's that simple. Yeah, when people when people want to know why I'm an atheist, which gets brought up every now and then, yeah. I'm like, the simple answer is I just don't believe. Yeah, it's that simple.
Yeah, it's weird for you. I get that.
I can't pretend to believe, right. or I can't make myself believe. Just like you can't make yourself not believe. Right. It's the same thing.
Like, you know how you don't understand how I cannot believe? I don't understand how you can.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
It's that simple. It's just humans. We're different. We are different people. We see things differently.
All right. So they check into the house and they find out that it's empty and it's also up for sale. So Kara decides to use some of her break-in skills that she learned for story once. Mm-hmm. And so they break into this house, which seems like a weird, bad idea.
It does.
But that's fine.
It seems like a weird, illegal idea.
Right.
Yeah.
But
so I don't think she had the right tools for that deadbolt.
Who knows?
I've researched it.
Have you?
I have, actually. I can open small locks.
Nice. Did she do a deadbolt?
It was a deadbolt, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, no. She had, like, hairpins.
Literally the point of deadbolts is you can't just, like...
You can't pick them with those simple tools. Right. Like, you can have, like, if you had a tool kit, like one of those, like, lock-picking kits, like professionals have, then you could do it. But she can't just, like, pull a hairpin out of her.
Yeah, if it had been a doorknob lock, I would have...
Yeah, if it was a regular doorknob, you just need your library card.
Right.
Which I've done many times.
But once they get inside, they find an angel painting on a wall. Or an angel painted on a wall. And while Kara dismisses it, Miles thinks it's definitely a sign.
Well, not just the angel, but there's one room. This is a completely empty house.
Yeah.
But there's one room with a light on, and it was the upstairs room had this bright ass work light on, shining at an angel on the wall. So it does seem.
Yeah. So Miles thinks it's a sign, but he's not sure exactly of what. We cut now to Rakesh on his date, and he's doing something accidentally funny. And his date, she says, "You're so funny," even though he was just being weird. He was
just being himself.
But he and his date complain about being set up, and so she suggests that they get some secret revenge by doing some things that their parents would not approve of.
She's talking about sex, Josh.
She's talking about sex stuff. Mm-hmm. She's real saucy.
Yeah.
She says, "It's too bad we both live at home." And Rakesh has an idea.
Yep.
And if you're anything like him, you know what it is.
Exactly.
So once outside, Kara is stunned by the fact that at this house they have a bench that's very similar to one that she used to sit on as a kid.
It sounded like you said bitch.
Bench.
It's like a porch swing.
Porch swing / bench that she used to sit on, and it makes her feel very nostalgic, but also kind of sad. Mm-hmm. And we don't know why, but obviously we're going to find out.
Yeah, and if you're like me and you're like, it looks like just any other porch swing, there were some carvings in it that kind of make it more unique. Mm-hmm. So if it is the exact same... swing, that could be noteworthy. From
Miles' apartment, which Rakesh was using for sexy times with his date, Rakesh calls Miles and tells him that he's been hacked by God again, and his computer won't stop freaking, and his music won't stop playing, and everything's terrible.
And it's that, I hate that fucking song, too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm only human after all. It's, all over the place right now.
Yeah, and they play it 16 times in this.
I couldn't handle it.
But when Miles and Kara get back, they still can't figure out how to stop it. And everything does eventually cease, just as his computer freezes on a photo of Miles with him and his family in his mom's hospital room. Mm-hmm. Kara sees it, and she is completely shook. And so she just sort of like stares and gets really awkward and decides that she's going to leave now.
Yep.
She makes up an excuse, I have something for work, but everyone could tell that she was...
Something happened there.
Something happened.
Yeah.
She was upset. And I would clarify that everyone is aware of why Rakesh and his date were in their apartment. They're just trying not to talk about it.
Especially since his date, she buttoned up her shirt wrong and her hair was all crazy. It was real cute. I liked it.
Oh, speaking of everyone being so attractive, Rakesh's date...
Also hot.
Whoa.
I know.
I was like, this guy.
What? These are all like kind of like real hot, not like, Too Hot for Humanity, like movie star hot. These are all people that could be like the person next door, but wicked attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, can I get Rakesh's mom to set me up?
No kidding. Can she set me up with Rakesh?
Right. Yeah.
I volunteer.
It's just one of those things. Like, Miles is...
Of course, he's probably like 10 years younger than me.
Miles might be the least attractive person on this cast, and he is a beautiful man.
He's a really good-looking guy, and I agree with you, actually.
So it's like, Jesus, that's your baseline.
His personality helps him out, though.
He's got a lot of charm.
He has a lot of charm.
Even for being such a kind of a douchebag.
Especially when it first started, I thought I was going to hate him, because I did not like his podcast personality.
Agreed. Yeah, but he's the charm that he's got helps him a long way with being sort of a kind of a dick sometimes.
Right.
But it works. It's sort of my whole personality, so I understand.
That's why I liked him.
So we now learn that Miles' mom had chemo at one point. So we're circling a little drain of Miles' dead mom mystery.
Yes.
Because like I said, they could have just gone with, there's no reason, but they have to have a reason.
They've been alluding to this the whole time.
Right. And Miles now feels forced to go see his dad so that they can figure out the name of the doctor and the nurse in the photo that freaked Kara out. Because obviously it wasn't Miles' family freaked her out. That would just be weird and racist.
It would be. Or maybe she's scared of hospitals.
Maybe.
That's normal.
So while talking to his dad...
His dad, by the way, is a pretty well-known actor.
Yeah.
Did you recognize him?
I do recognize him. I don't know his name, though.
I looked it up. It's Joe Morton. He was in, like, Speed and Terminator 2.
He's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Terminator 2, that's probably...
Yeah, T2. Also, funnily enough, Touched by an Angel.
Which one?
He was in several episodes.
Okay, cool. We'll go Joe Morton. We do appreciate your work.
Yeah.
And his dad is stunned to see him at first, and he takes the chance to invite Miles to celebrate his 25th, just like his sister did. And this prompts a fight, because Dad waited for Miles to show up before inviting him, and Miles suspects it was because Dad would be embarrassed to have his non-believing son in the church for his big anniversary. So Dad asks Miles to name just a single person that he's ever helped. And Miles points out that it's a podcast. He doesn't need to see the people to know that he's helping. But Dad accuses him instead of taking away people's hope. But Miles says, "You're lying to people. And you know just as well as I do that God's not watching over anyone." And Dad responds, he knows Miles is angry, but you don't think that what happened made me question my faith?
Yep.
So Dad says they can't keep having this argument, and Miles agrees. And if it wasn't before, it is now time for the big eye roll.
Yes.
Because just as predicted, something terrible happened, and that's why Miles doesn't believe. It's just like, what?
I know, I'm sick of it too. Maybe we should write a show.
Like, I, spoilers, kind of like this show.
Me too.
I kind of like this show. There's this big element of it, and it's just like, fuck you.
Yep.
It would have been so much better without a reason.
The smallest little thing. Granted, you know that the people who wrote this and who write all the other things that we've watched don't know that this is a trope. Right. They don't see that. Because they think that this is real, like this is the only way.
Otherwise, why wouldn't you believe? That's ridiculous.
Right. There has to be some, whatever, we already talked about this so much. Yeah. Let's not beat that horse anymore.
So the next scene has Miles find out that the nurse that was his mom's nurse was also Kara's mom.
Yep.
The nurse is Kara's mom. And so that's the big twist, that's the big reveal, and that's the big commercial break. And that's 28 minutes.
All right.
We've been going. It's 28 minutes. I considered taking a break.
I did it at all. I didn't even know. Honestly, this did not feel long to me. And it's probably because I've been trained by all the things we have done in the past that feel like they're 7 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't want to send the wrong message. I do not think that this is a slog to watch.
Oh, okay.
Mine was that I'm taking all these notes.
Oh,
there are a lot of notes to take.
Your little fingers hurt?
Yeah, there's a lot happening. I have to keep going back to make sure I get stuff right.
Right.
And it's just so much is happening in such a short amount of time. I'm not complaining. It's very tightly done as far as a show.
Right.
It's just that it's a lot to write down.
So yeah, if you have to, I'm assuming you have to, I would have to pause it pretty regularly to just to keep up.
Right.
So this is extra long for you.
Yeah. So it takes me about twice as long to watch anything we do.
Right.
When I'm taking the notes. And that's all I'm saying. It was only been 28 minutes, so I'm just like, oh my God, there's so many notes. I just gotta do
Working up a sweat.
Yeah, I do not think that it's actually a pain to watch. The 28 minutes moves unless you're taking notes.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm following now.
Detailed notes. So, Kara is looking down onto the river with a bottle of wine, and Miles tracks her down, having talked to her roommate. And he reveals what he knows, that her mom left when she was a kid, and Miles now thinks that it's his task to help her reunite with her mom. Kara knows that that's not it, though, because she already knows where her mom is. She found her 6 months ago. Time for Kara's backstory, and we're going to keep this brief. Her mom abandoned her when she was 7 and apparently went to New York. So after college, Kara moved to New York, but hadn't seen her until recently, that's 6 months ago. But when she did, she froze up and she was unable to talk. And since then, she's gone back every day to the same spot to see her in the park. But she's always chickened out and left before her mom was supposedly going to show up. And so now...
Oh, no. She saw her mom there every day. It's just she chickened out about talking to her.
She can't talk to her. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was what I heard, but then I was like, I don't know what I heard. And so...
Also, she was an alcoholic.
Her mom was?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Or an addict. I think they use the word addict, so it could be anything.
Yeah. I think it was alcohol.
I think so, too.
And since then, Kara has not been able to sleep or write, and that's what is messing up her professional life as well. And so, of course, now Miles shares his own sad tale for the dummies at home who didn't already get it. His mom was diagnosed with cancer when he was a kid, but she was given only 6 months to live, but she somehow, through his prayers, perhaps, was sent into complete remission, and no one could explain it. She was magically cured of cancer.
Magic is the word.
So the real tragedy here is, on their way home from the hospital on that day, she died in a car accident.
That's so fucked up.
It's so fucked up.
It is so fucked up.
So the only way Miles can reconcile that is to not believe in God, because if such a being did exist, he'd be cruel. And Miles would rather not live in the world of the cruel God, so he lives in a world of no God.
Yep.
More or less. But he says he would give anything to talk to his own mom, so he thinks that Kara needs to do her best to do so. And if Kara's mom doesn't want anything to do with her, because it's a genuine concern, what if she doesn't want to talk to me? Then at least she knows that now and can move on.
Yeah. Logical.
So that's where we are. So Miles and Kara, it's, I think there's a very brief scene in the middle, but Miles and Kara go to the park where Kara's mom should be. And Miles supports her from a hot dog cart from afar. While Kara goes... Churro cart. You're right. Well, Kara goes to talk to her mom. And she sits down next to her and she makes small talk until her mom recognizes her. It's very funny because she's just like, the weather's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice day, huh?
Playing the lottery.
Yeah, her mom just has this weird glassy-eyed, gaze. She's just, smiling at nothing. I'm like, maybe her mom has dementia.
I thought for a second you'd be like, she has no idea who she is.
Right.
But they have a very emotional moment for just a second. But then Kara gets really in her feelings, reasonably.
Yes.
And insists on knowing why she never came home. So Kara's mom tries to explain. But Kara cuts her off and tells her that she grew up thinking that her own mom hated her, and she spent years in therapies trying to figure out what she did wrong. And at this point, Kara's mom's new, younger daughter comes over.
Kara 2.0.
Kara 2.0 comes over and asks her if everything is okay. And this sets Kara off, who obviously gets upset, and she starts running into the street while sobbing, and she gets hit by a car. It's actually, before we talk about the car, it's actually kind of funny because when the little daughter shows up, they cut to Miles really quick and he goes, oh no.
Yeah, it was good. Oh shit. Did not see this twist coming.
That's awful. But anyway, so Kara's hit by a car at speed. It's pretty bad hit.
It is a pretty bad hit.
She's not...
But somehow, no blood.
That's what I mean. It's a Hollywood hit. So she gets hit by the car. She probably slides across the road, but she's fine.
Right.
Except she's not breathing. So it is a bad hit. We're supposed to understand.
Knocked out her breath, but no scratches.
Right. We're supposed to understand that it was a bad hit, except she's not bleeding. She wasn't scraped really bad. She just got poof, and she jumped into the air where she landed.
She got kids-friendly injured.
Yeah. So she's not breathing. The driver's trying to call 911. Miles can't help her. He doesn't know anything about helping her. And just at this point, a man in a taxi from a few cars down gets out of his car, and he approaches to help.
Who is this man, Josh?
It's the guy who Miles saved from the subway car that he was going to jump in front of.
What was his name? He had a stupid last name.
John Dove.
Yeah, Dove. Whatever.
But it's what a coincidence. And Miles says, she's not breathing. She needs a doctor. And he says,
I am a doctor. Whoa!
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 But the doctor manages to resuscitate Kara long enough to get her to the hospital. And at there, we learn that she's gonna be fine. She's just badly wounded. She, cracked a rib or something.
Yeah, she punctured a lung.
Punctured a lung.
Yeah.
But she's gonna be fine. She just needs to not get hit by any more cars.
Pretty obvious.
The subway guy, the suicide guy, and Miles share a moment at the hospital. You see, what happened was, on that day, he had just lost a patient on the table. And then he got home and his girlfriend broke up with him.
It's a pretty rough day.
That's, first off, rude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying you can't break up with the guy.
Just maybe wait a day or two after he's mourning a patient.
Give him a day.
Yeah.
But he lost the patient on the table, then his girlfriend broke up with him, and it just felt like an avalanche of crap. And so when Miles saved him, he realized that he didn't want to die. And he's taken a sort of leave, but Miles thinks that he's a really great doctor. And, you're doing great.
Yeah.
He's a really supportive guy.
Yeah.
And so the doctor runs off, and now it's Miles and Kara. So Miles goes in to see Kara, and he reveals that he never turned in his podcast presentation because he didn't feel like it. I don't remember why.
Because he wanted to stay at the hospital and make sure she was okay.
Is that why it was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he is staying at the hospital with her. And Kara points out the grand design of all of it, Just sort of saying, it's kind of weird that the guy you saved from the suicide is the guy who...
I mean, I don't know about the grand design thing, but it is a fucking weird coincidence.
It would be cause for concern.
Yeah, boggling to me.
This is something weird. And Miles points out that she has a visitor, and it is Kara's mom, and he's the one who invited her. And he tries to leave to give them some time, but Kara insists that he stay, and she asks her mom what she wants. And Mom reveals why she never came back. She actually did. When she was in 8th grade, she went to one of Kara's track meets. When Kara was in 8th grade, not.
No, yeah. I was...
And
when her mom was in 8th grade, she was thinking about Kara.
But she went to one of Kara's track meets. And when Kara won her race, she looked so happy and so confident. And Mom was afraid that if she came back and things didn't work out again, that it would just shatter her forever and she'd never recover. And so she couldn't risk that. And so she just walked away instead. And she's thought about it ever since that day, hoping that one day she might get another chance. And so if Kara will let her, she wants to be a part of her life. Aww. How cute.
Reunions.
So now we're closing on Miles' narration. He talks about how he didn't used to believe in any grand design or anything like that, but then God friended him, and his world has turned upside down. He still doesn't believe in God, he says, but the world is crazy, and we owe it to ourselves to ask tough questions and open ourselves up to the world.
Cool.
And then we catch up with every subplot. Kara writes a successful story and does not get fired. She also meets Kara 2.0 for the first time. Mm-hmm. Rakesh has a love connection with the cute girl that he was set up with. They're actually gonna, I guess, give it a shot.
Yep. He got her a rose.
The subway doctor goes back to work saving people as a doctor. And Miles goes to his dad's church anniversary, but in secret. So Pops is
still sad about it.
He's very sad, but Miles was there.
Yeah.
And the next day or someday, he goes to the park to play chess with his dad, which is a thing they used to do.
Yeah.
So it's the first step in reconciliation there.
Yeah. Very positive notes there at the end.
Very positive. I do like the sort of like subtle dig of I'll be here, but only in secret.
Yeah. He took notes from Kara's mom.
That's right. If it doesn't work out, he's going to be shattered forever. The very end of the episode is Miles and Kara agreeing to try to continue to unravel the mystery of God's Facebook account, setting us up for a sequel, basically.
The sequel.
The sequel being the
F2,
second episode.
yeah.
And the reason I mentioned early on that this is non-committal is that this show, unlike Touched by an Angel, never officially says that it's actually God.
Right.
They have two workable theories for who it is outside of God.
Right.
An advanced AI and just someone messing with them and paying people.
Right.
That doesn't seem to be the case because Kara wasn't one of them, but you get it. And even at the end of the episode, Miles is like, it's weird, I admit, but I don't believe it's God. That would be ridiculous.
Right.
So like, it's Touched by an Angel for a millennial generation of people who are just like, I'm not going to commit to that though.
So like the through line, like with most, sitcoms or comedy shows or things like this, there has to be like a will they, won't they? And the will they, won't they of this show is Miles and God.
That's true. They did not imply anything with him and Kara.
God's the Ross to his Rachel.
That's true. They did not even go there.
Once he commits, like once he believes in God, the rest of the seasons are going to be shit. Once they get together.
That's
Any
true.
season after that.
That's true, yeah. It's always bad once they do
Never get them together.
Except for Raising Hope.
Oh, yeah, that was better. You're right.
That was good.
Jess and Nick should not have gotten together so early on New Girl.
I was going to say, what is that? But no, I saw it. I didn't recognize right away. Yeah, you're right. It would have been better if they had... Okay, but at the same time, I hate will they, won't they's. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
I mean, I like the flirtation and like...
Yeah. But, like, once it becomes, like, a real plot point...
No, I never like it to be the main plot point,
you
ever.
need to really deliver on it.
It just needs to be a subtle thing that's happening in the background.
So, I'm gonna defend Nick in just a little bit, because at least they did it. Mm-hmm. Then they broke up. Then they did it again.
Then the show got slowly weirder.
So, let's talk about the best and worst of this show. Okay. So far.
Best is that it's good.
Best is that it's good. Yeah. I'm with you.
I enjoyed it.
I actually liked it.
Yeah, it's visually good. Very eye candy full.
The cast alone is eye candy enough.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, like we said earlier, the show moves.
Yeah.
But not in a super convoluted way.
Right.
The plot is pretty simple. It's just also, like, you feel like stuff is happening.
Right.
Instead of long 4-minute sequences of people pondering.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Worst would be, obviously, the fact that he had to have a dead mom to be an atheist.
And I'm gonna go with a slightly more specific worst. Why is it always moms?
It is always, because Disney taught us that heroes can't have moms.
It's so weird.
Protagonists cannot have a mother.
Like, every time someone complains about how women are disposable in pop culture, and then you've got idiots on the internet being like, women are the whatever, it's easy mode. You're like, just watch a show. Yeah. Or a movie, and tell me if their mom is alive. 40% of the time in anything, their mom's dead.
Yeah, literally disposable.
Even though women live longer than men. Yeah. Period.
Not represented on TV.
It's so weird.
You're right.
But we have basically the same best and worst. Yeah. The best is that it's actually good. The worst is the really silly trope that everyone insists on using.
Yeah, I really wanted to watch the second episode, but stupid all-access CBS.
It'll be on Hulu or something eventually.
You think so? Probably. I don't think so. Because The Good Fight is still not anywhere that I can see it.
Oh, right. When everyone starts their own streaming services, they're very stingy.
Right. They want me to pay for their specific service.
Good luck, sucker.
Fuck off, CBS.
So now let's talk about some things that are like this. Do you have anything like this that,
I remember liking the movie Oh God.
There you go.
That I mentioned in the beginning.
Perfect.
I tried to think of something and nothing really came to mind.
I came up with one thing.
Okay, go.
Pretty excited. And again, we're not saying don't watch this, because I actually did kind of enjoy it. Yeah. But I am going to say, this is just Touched by an Angel, really. But it's better than Touched by an Angel, and therefore better than this? Quantum Leap.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Go watch some Quantum Leap.
Oh my god.
That show is awesome.
It's a great reference. You know what this also kind of reminded me of? Do you ever see Stranger Than Fiction?
I haven't.
Oh, it's such a great movie.
That's the Will Ferrell movie, right?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those, it's a more dramatic role for him, but it's still wicked funny. I don't know what exactly it is about this that reminds me of that movie, but go watch it. It's a great movie. It's really underrated.
Yeah, I've heard that. I just need to see it.
Yeah, I own it.
Well then.
I could bring it over.
Maybe we'll do that.
Movie day.
Now let's talk about what we're doing next week.
What is it?
Here's a thing with it.
Samson.
We're watching Samson.
Is it a movie?
It's a movie. It's on Netflix.
Recent movie? Correct?
It's like 2016 modern? Or 17.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're gonna watch Samson.
I know a little bit about the story of Samson.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's going to be a Delilah involved.
Probably.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Do you know who's in it?
No.
Cool.
Some guy.
Well, I'm in.
His name is like Taylor James or something.
Yeah.
Point star.
Never trust somebody with two first names.
But I did find a review on this one. The best one I could find, and by best I mean most positive. Luke Thompson for Forbes said that he did not enjoy the cheap-looking effects or the props, but he did say that it was rarely boring.
Effects weren't cheap-looking. What's he talking about?
Oh, sorry, for Samson.
Oh! We've moved on. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're talking about Samson.
I'm sorry.
But he did
I've had 3 sips of a hard cider. Or seltzer.
But he did say that Samson was rarely boring, and he applauded Pureflix for actually trying to go big and stretch into biblical epics.
Oh man, you're telling me this is a Pureflix film?
Yeah, of course.
Not of course.
They make the majority of the stuff.
Well, I didn't know it was like a super... I thought it could be something more like Noah's Ark with Cameron Crowe.
Just a story of Samson. Although we should watch that
We should absolutely watch that. Yeah. Noah. Isn't that what it's called, Noah?
It's just called Noah, yeah.
Go.
And remember, if you like the show, please give us a 5-star review on every podcast app or service you are using, and tell your friends about us any way that you can. Write it into their shoes. That's weird. Yeah, but they'll get the message. Maybe on the bottom of their shoes so they can actually see it. Like Andy. Like Andy in Toy Story. Perfect. Just write our podcast name on people's shoes. What a weird... Anyway. We have magnets. Links to everything are in the description of this episode. And also go to that website and send us a comment or a question so that we can have a mailbag. Yeah. And as always, thank you so much for listening. Thank you. We appreciate your freaking faces. We love you a bunch. Bye. Bye.